Hey, guess what's coming up next in the Predator movie series? It's called Predator Badlands. This time around, it's penned by Dan Trachtenberg and Patrick Asen, with Dan Trachtenberg also taking the director's chair. So here's the scoop. According to The Hollywood Reporter, back in February 2024, they spilled the beans that a bunch of Predator projects were in the works, all with Dan Trachtenberg leading the charge. Predator Badlands is one of those exciting projects, and word is, production kicks off in July 2024. As for the cast of Predator Badlands, there's no gossip or official announcements yet, but rumor has it that the movie will have a leading lady. Now let's talk about Arnold Schwarzenegger, the OG Predator legend. There's always this buzz whenever a new Predator flick is in the works, with fans hoping he'll make a comeback as Dutch. Remember when Robert Rodriguez wanted him for Predators? Arnie was tied up with other stuff back then. Then, in 2016, he had a chat with Shane Black about The Predator, but he wasn't too keen on the script. He wanted something more meaty for his character. And hey, did you hear about the speculation around The Rock taking over the Dutch role? Back in 2003, he squashed those rumors, and in 2005, there was talk of John Cena jumping in for a Predator remake. Wrestling star stepping into the alien hunting game? Now that's some crossover action. Alright, let's dive into the storyline of Predator Badlands. This time around, we're leaving the historical backdrop of 1719 behind and jumping into the future. Plus, we've got a leading lady taking charge. Before The Predator hit the scene, fans were buzzing about the possibility of Robert Rodriguez coming back for a direct sequel to Predators, maybe even with Adrian Brody making a return. But hey, with that open-ended ending, crafting a fresh story without treading old ground could be a challenge. Rodriguez had some ideas brewing back in 2010, hinting at a whole new world for a potential sequel. But if he's not in the mix, we might be looking at a completely new tale. And speaking of ideas, there were plenty swirling around for Predator sequels over the years. Way before Predators hit the screens, there were about 3 scripts for what could have been Predator 3 making the rounds. One of them, penned by Sam Park, had Arnold Schwarzenegger's Dutch facing off against a Predator in the snowy chaos of New York City. Now that's one icy showdown we'd love to see. So in the second script, cooked up by none other than Robert Rodriguez, we're talking about Predators. Picture this. It's set on a 17th century ship, where the crew is in for a wild ride as they find themselves stalked by a predator. But here's the twist. They're armed with nothing but inferior weaponry, so you can imagine the high-stakes struggle that ensues. Rodriguez spilled the beans about his script back in 2004, mentioning that it got the axe due to its hefty budget, clocking in at around $150 million. That's a lot of cash. Now onto the third script, known as The Zoo. This one's a real blast from the past, bringing back Dutch from the original Predator and Harrigan from Predator 2. The duo finds themselves in quite the predicament. They've been captured and whisked away to the Predator homeworld. Why? Well, turns out they're the only 2 folks who've ever managed to take down a Predator. Alright, with that, let's dive into some fun brainstorming about what genres and targets our Predator could take on next. First up on my list, Knights Templar vs. Predator. Now, if you're not familiar, the Templars were this badass military order back in the Middle Ages, serving up some serious knightly vibes while spreading Christianity during the Crusades. They're shrouded in mystery, with all sorts of theories flying around about them guarding epic religious artifacts like the Holy Grail and the Shroud of Turin. Heck, even the Da Vinci Code got in on the action, stirring up conspiracy theories left and right about these knights knowing all sorts of church secrets before getting the boot. But these Templars weren't just your average soldiers. They were known for their courage and muscle, which would make them prime targets for those sneaky predators. And hey, if you buy into the whole supernatural strength and abilities angle, like some conspiracy theorists do, then imagine the showdown. It'd be like pitting one secret society against another with aliens thrown into the mix. Next up, I've got something that's just begging to hit the big screen. Vikings vs. Predator. Now, Vikings weren't just your run-of-the-mill warriors. These folks were fierce and fearless, making them not only a thrilling hunt for our Predator friend, but also a formidable opponent in battle. Picture this. a predator prowling through Viking territory, facing off against these legendary warriors in epic showdowns. And just like the pirate genre, setting a predator flick in Viking times opens up a whole new world of possibilities. Think oceanic adventures, icy landscapes, and brutal combat scenes that'll have audiences on the edge of their seats. What's cool is that Viking stories have been gaining serious traction lately, with shows like the History Channel's Vikings and recent films like The Northman capturing audiences' imaginations. So it's the perfect time to drop a predator smack dab in the middle of Viking Mayhem. It's a clash of cultures, a battle of legends, and it's got blockbuster written all over it. Next, imagine this: Prohibition gangsters facing off against the Predator. Now, if you recall Predator 2, our alien friend duked it out with various gangs in the gritty streets of Los Angeles back in 1997. But here's a wild idea. What if we took it back to the Prohibition era in America? Picture this: the birth of organized crime, speakeasies, and Tommy guns aplenty. It's a perfect backdrop for a Predator flick. Think about it. The Tommy gun, originally designed for World War I, hitting the streets just as Prohibition kicks in. Suddenly, organized crime has this devastating weapon at their disposal, causing chaos and changing the game entirely. It's a pivotal moment in history, marking a shift where humans become formidable opponents for our Predator friend. And hey, it's not just about the historical setting, it's about the action too. Bootleggers zooming through the streets in fast cars, trying to evade both law enforcement and a lurking predator? Now that's a heart-pounding chase scene waiting to happen. Plus, it adds a whole new layer to the Predator series, shifting the perspective from law enforcement to the criminals themselves. It's action, it's horror, and it's a fresh take on the classic Predator formula. Who wouldn't want to see that on the big screen? Alright, now brace yourself for the last one: Superheroes vs. Predator. Now, if you think back to the first Predator movie, it was all about pitting the alien hunter against a crack team of commandos, a nod to those action-packed flicks of the 80s where beefed-up heroes like Arnold Schwarzenegger ruled the screen. But times have changed, and nowadays when we think of heroism and action, we think of superheroes. Predators aren't strangers to facing off against Caped Crusaders either. They've tangled with the likes of Batman and Superman in the comics. And get this, now that Predator has its own comic series under Marvel, thanks to the Disney acquisition, there's a whole new world of possibilities. While we might not see a crossover with Marvel's big guns, there's nothing stopping creators from whipping up a fresh batch of superheroes for our Predator to hunt down. Imagine it, a showdown where our heroes, accustomed to saving the day, find themselves brutally picked off one by one, facing a threat unlike any they've encountered before. It's a whole new spin on the superhero genre, blending slasher vibes with epic battles. Well, that's it for today. Which of these epic showdowns are you most excited to see on the big screen? Are you Team Knights Templar, Vikings, Prohibition gangsters, or superheroes? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay tuned for more thrilling updates. Until next time, happy hunting!